King Saul was a powerful man. He ruled over Israel with an iron fist, commanding respect and loyalty from his subjects. His reign was marked by numerous victories and a strong sense of justice. The people of Israel looked up to him as a formidable leader who could protect them from their enemies. His presence was imposing and his decisions were final. Yet beneath this exterior of strength and authority, there lay a heart that was not at peace. But his heart was troubled. Despite his outward appearance of confidence and control, King Saul was plagued by inner turmoil. He often found himself lost in thought, his mind racing with insecurities and fears. The weight of the crown bore heavily on him, and he struggled to find solace. His nights were sleepless, filled with haunting dreams and visions of betrayal. The once mighty king was now a man tormented by his own doubts and anxieties. He was consumed by jealousy. The root of his distress was a young man named David. David's rise to fame and the admiration he received from the people of Israel gnawed at Saul's heart. The king's jealousy grew with each passing day, turning into a burning rage that he could not control. His thoughts were clouded by envy, and he began to see David as a threat to his throne and his legacy. The once noble king was now a prisoner of his own emotions. A young man named David was gaining popularity. David was not just any young man. He was a shepherd boy who had captured the hearts of the people with his bravery and charisma. His humble beginnings and his unwavering faith in God made him a beloved figure among the Israelites. People sang songs of his heroics, and his name was on everyone's lips. David's rise was meteoric, and his presence was a beacon of hope for many. David was brave and strong, his courage was unmatched, and his strength was legendary. He had proven himself time and again on the battlefield, earning the respect of soldiers and civilians alike. David's valor was not just in his physical prowess, but also in his unwavering faith and determination. He was a natural leader, and his confidence inspired those around him. The people saw in David a future leader, someone who could guide them through the darkest of times. He had defeated the giant Goliath. This single act of bravery had catapulted David into the annals of history. Armed with nothing but a sling and a few stones, David had faced the fearsome giant Goliath and emerged victorious. This incredible feat had not only saved Israel from the Philistines, but had also cemented David's place as a hero in the hearts of the people. His victory was celebrated far and wide, and his legend grew with each retelling of the tale. Saul feared David would take his throne. He became David's enemy. The king's paranoia reached new heights as he watched David's popularity soar. Every cheer for David felt like a dagger to Saul's heart. He could not bear the thought of being overshadowed by this young upstart. The fear of losing his throne and his legacy consumed Saul, turning his admiration for David into bitter enmity. He saw David not as a loyal subject, but as a rival who needed to be eliminated. Saul chased David into the harsh desert of En-Gedi. Determined to rid himself of this perceived threat, Saul launched a relentless pursuit of David. The once peaceful relationship between the king and his loyal subject had turned into a deadly game of cat and mouse. David, now a fugitive, was forced to flee into the unforgiving wilderness of the desert of En-Gedi. The harsh terrain and the constant threat of capture made every day a struggle for survival. The desert was a dangerous place. The desert of En-Gedi was a barren and treacherous landscape filled with rocky paths and hidden dangers. The scorching sun and the lack of water made it a hostile environment for anyone seeking refuge. David and his followers had to navigate this perilous terrain, always on the lookout for Saul's soldiers. The desert tested their endurance and their faith, pushing them to their limits. It was filled with caves and cliffs. The desert's rugged landscape provided numerous hiding spots, but it also posed significant risks. The caves and cliffs offered temporary shelter, but they were also potential traps. David and his men had to be constantly vigilant, knowing that Saul's forces could be lurking around any corner. The natural formations of the desert became both their sanctuary and their prison, a place where they could hide but never truly feel safe. Saul was determined to find David and kill him. The king's obsession with capturing David knew no bounds. He deployed his best soldiers to scour the desert, leaving no stone unturned in their search. Saul's determination was fueled by his fear and jealousy, driving him to the brink of madness. The once great king was now a man consumed by his own insecurities, willing to go to any lengths to eliminate the threat he believed David posed. The chase through the desert of En-Gedi was a testament to the destructive power of jealousy and the lengths to which it could drive a man. Deep in the desert, David and his men found shelter. They hid in a cave. It was dark and secluded. The cave offered them protection from Saul's soldiers. One day, Saul entered the very same cave. He was tired from his pursuit. He had no idea David was hiding within. Saul felt safe. He lay down to rest inside the cave. Little did he know he was moments away from danger.
This is our chance. God has delivered him into our hands.
They urged David to kill Saul. It seemed like the perfect opportunity to end the chase. David's heart pounded in his chest. He snuck closer to Saul. He could easily kill Saul and escape. But something stopped him. David knew in his heart that killing was wrong. He believed God would make things right. He would not take justice into his own hands.
I will not harm Saul. He is still the Lord's anointed king.
David's men were shocked. They argued with him. They reminded him of Saul's cruelty. They said it was foolish to show mercy to an enemy.
Vengeance belongs to the Lord. It is not our place to punish.
David listened patiently. Then he calmly explained his decision. As Saul slept, David crept forward again. He carefully cut off a piece of Saul's robe. He wanted to show Saul he could have killed him. But he chose mercy instead. When Saul woke up, he left the cave. David followed him. He called out to Saul from a distance. He showed him the piece of his robe. Saul was stunned. He stood there, frozen in disbelief, unable to comprehend the magnitude of what had just transpired. The very man he had been hunting, the one he had sought to destroy, had shown him mercy. It was a moment that would be etched in his memory forever. He realized David had spared his life. Shame washed over him like a tidal wave, engulfing his heart and soul. He had been so consumed by his own fears and insecurities that he had failed to see the true character of the man before him. David's act of mercy was a stark contrast to his own actions. He knew he had wronged David. The weight of his past actions pressed heavily on his shoulders. He had pursued David relentlessly, driven by jealousy and paranoia. But now, in this moment of clarity, he saw the error of his ways. He felt a deep sense of regret and sorrow for the pain he had caused. Yet, David had shown him incredible kindness. It was a kindness that transcended the bitterness and hatred that had once filled their relationship. David's compassion was a beacon of hope, a reminder that even in the darkest of times there is always a glimmer of light. It was a testament to the power of forgiveness.
You're a better man than I am, David. Saul's voice trembled with emotion as he spoke these words. It was an admission of his own shortcomings and a recognition of David's noble spirit. In that moment, Saul saw David not as an enemy, but as a man of great integrity and honor.
Tears filled his eyes. They were not just tears of sorrow, but also of relief. For the first time in a long while, Saul felt a sense of peace. The burden of his hatred and anger began to lift, replaced by a newfound respect for David. It was a cathartic release, a moment of profound emotional healing. He asked for David's forgiveness. His voice was choked with emotion, his words barely audible. It was a humbling experience to seek forgiveness from the very man he had wronged so deeply. But it was also a necessary step towards redemption. Saul knew that without David's forgiveness, he could never truly find peace.
Please forgive me. Saul's plea was sincere, his eyes pleading for understanding. He had come to realize that forgiveness was not just about absolving the past, but also about paving the way for a better future. It was a chance to rebuild trust and mend the broken bonds between them.
David humbled himself before Saul. He knelt down, a gesture of respect and humility. It was a powerful moment, one that spoke volumes about David's character. He was not seeking revenge or retribution, but rather, he was extending a hand of reconciliation. It was an act of true leadership and compassion. He insisted he meant no harm. David's voice was calm and steady, a stark contrast to the turmoil that had once defined their relationship. He wanted Saul to understand that his intentions were pure, that he harbored no ill will. It was a message of peace, a call for unity and understanding. He only wanted to serve his king faithfully. David's loyalty was unwavering, his commitment to Saul unshaken. Despite the hardships and betrayals, he remained steadfast in his dedication. It was a testament to his character, a reflection of his deep sense of duty and honor.
I mean no harm, my king. David's words were a reassurance, a promise of his loyalty. He bowed down. a gesture of submission and respect. It was a moment of profound humility, a reminder that true strength lies in the ability to forgive and to serve with a pure heart. I only wish to serve you faithfully. David's pledge was sincere, his devotion unwavering. He had proven time and again that his loyalty was not just in words, but in actions. It was a powerful reminder of the strength of character and the transformative power of forgiveness.
This story teaches us about integrity. Even though Saul was his enemy, David refused to harm him. He knew it was wrong to take revenge. David chose to do what was right, even when it was difficult. He trusted God to be his protector and defender. David's actions teach us that integrity means doing the right thing, even when no one is watching. It means choosing to honor God in all circumstances. Forgiveness is a powerful force. When we forgive others, we release the bitterness and anger we hold inside. David could have held on to resentment towards Saul. Instead, he chose to forgive. This allowed him to move forward with a pure heart. Forgiving others doesn't excuse their actions, but it frees us from the burden of carrying pain and anger. It opens the door for healing and reconciliation. David's act of mercy had a ripple effect. It touched Saul's heart. It caused him to reflect on his own actions. When we choose forgiveness and kindness, it can inspire others to do the same. We can create a more peaceful world by extending grace and understanding to those around us. Every act of kindness, big or small, has the power to make a difference. The story of David and Saul is a timeless reminder of the importance of mercy, forgiveness, and integrity. In the ancient texts, we find a narrative that transcends time and culture, offering lessons that are as pertinent now as they were in the days of old. David, a young shepherd destined to be king, had every reason to seek vengeance against Saul, the reigning king who sought his life. Yet in a moment of profound decision, David chose a path less traveled. These values are just as relevant today as they were thousands of years ago. In our modern world, where conflicts and misunderstandings are commonplace, the principles of mercy and forgiveness can bridge divides and heal wounds. Imagine a world where, instead of retaliating, we choose to understand and forgive. The landscapes of our lives, much like the timeless landscapes of ancient and modern cities, would be transformed. We all face situations where we are tempted to take revenge or hold on to grudges, whether it's a disagreement with a colleague, a betrayal by a friend, or a long-standing family feud. The urge to retaliate can be strong. Historical conflicts, much like our personal battles, often stem from a place of hurt and misunderstanding. But what if, instead of escalating the conflict, we chose a different path? In those moments, remember David's example. Choose mercy, choose forgiveness, choose integrity. David's decision to spare Saul, despite having the opportunity to end his life, was a testament to his character and his faith. It was a choice that required immense strength and courage. By choosing mercy, David not only spared Saul, but also set a powerful example for generations to come. This act of forgiveness is a beacon of hope, reminding us that we too can rise above our base instincts. You might be surprised by the powerful impact your choices can have on yourself and others. When we choose mercy, we open the door to healing and reconciliation. Communities can come together, relationships can be mended, and personal growth can flourish. The ripple effect of one act of kindness can extend far beyond what we can see. Just as David's choice brought relief and joy to his people, our decisions can bring about positive change in our own lives and the lives of those around us. Embrace the power of mercy and watch as it transforms your world.